That little mayor Sadiq puts out a statement saying that we should all hug our brown, black, and ethnic minority neighbors. What a race-basing little why. Why can't we just hug our neighbors? Love thy neighbor. Or is the too Christian? Now he doesn't want real community cohesion. No, he wants to cause division. Hey, where are his statements calling for people to hug their Jewish neighbors for the past 7 months when Jews kept telling him that pro-Palestinian marches he sanctioned made them feel terrified in their own country? He was pretty silent then, wasn't he? And do you know what? It's gone meh. Our leaders have done nothing but make the situation worse. Barney Rubble right Keir to Keir, he must surely recall Parliament in a minute. He's come back from his holidays early and but they've got to come back and have a proper debate about the tensions in the country and not just arrest people. These are tensions going on. There's poor Muslim Pakistani Bangladeshi people frightened to death of the so-called right-wing thugs. Jim Davidson, the well-known comedian and longtime critic of so-called political correctness, has once again stirred fierce debate across Britain. This time he has taken direct aim at London Mayor Sadiq in a video that is rapidly going viral criticizing him over crime rates, public safety and what Davidson describes as cultural appeasement policies that are eroding British identity. Davidson has long courted controversy, but this time his tone is noticeably more personal, sparking a social media storm and reigniting debate over the limits of free speech. People are sick of it, he says in the clip. Sick of the crime, sick of the hypocrisy, and sick of people like Sadiq treating London like his own backyard. Davidson ends with a blunt statement. This is not his city. This is our city. Critics have accused him of fueling Islamophobia and stoking division. Several organizations and commentators have warned that such rhetoric only adds fuel to the fire in a Britain already deeply polarized over immigration, race, and national identity. The mayor's office noted that Sadiq has received death threats for years and condemned the use of public platforms to incite hostility, whether overt or veiled. Even so, Davidson has received strong support from a segment of the public who view him as a voice willing to say what others won't. To them, Khan and Labour leader Keir Starmer have come to symbolize the decline of traditional Britain. Accused of prioritizing global concerns over the interests of native citizens. A survey conducted by The Times last year revealed that Sadiq's approval ratings in London are declining, primarily due to concerns about crime. However, critics of Davidson warned that he and others like him are merely exploiting public dissatisfaction to stoke emotions rather than encouraging responsible debate. Meanwhile, Sadiq has remained silent, continuing to promote a message of unity, inclusion, and building a safe capital. Many within the Labour Party believe it is time to adopt a tougher stance against the so-called culture war rhetoric, which they argue targets not only the mayor, but also the party's broader urban voter base. What is undeniable is that Davidson's remarks, whether seen as poisonous, invective, or plain-speaking truth, have struck a nerve within the increasingly deep cultural divides of British society. As the country moves closer to a general election, controversial figures like Davidson are playing an even more prominent role in shaping public discourse. In an era where provocation equates to influence, the line between comedy and politics is becoming increasingly blurred. And Jim Davidson clearly knows exactly what he's aiming for. Where's the democracy? If the majority of British Britons in Britain today don't want and have never wanted mass immigration from the Third World, we can basically I'm from London, right? And we can basically see before our eyes the decline and degradation that Third World immigration brings. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't matter really now whether you're on the left or on the right. But those people that were on the left 15, 20 years ago that would call me a racist and a Little Englander are now having their phones stolen. They're getting sexually harassed and beaten up in London and our towns and cities, and they're kind of coming around to our way of thinking. You know, the reality is, there are now over 50,000 people on the Islamic terror watch list. Yeah. Now, in 1995, that number was 0. So there's a direct correlation between the amount of immigration you have from the Islamic Third World and subsequent terrorism. We've imported FGM, honor killing, sham marriage, suicide bombing, the full vow, grooming gangs, lone wolf attacks, you know, we've got violent gangs all over our towns and cities. But when I was a boy, I'm 48, right? When I was a boy, I grew up in London in S21 down Croxted Road, if anyone knows it, near Brock Park. Yeah. And you know what? It was a lot safer. Right. I would agree. Now that the big change has been mass immigration from the third world. Now, most people can see it destroying the fabric of our country and Europe for that matter, but I'm mainly concerned with this country. Most of us can see that it's ruining the country and destroying the fabric of our country. Okay. But and the thing is, we've told successive governments now for 25, 30 years. We voted for it. We've given them explicit instructions. Now, David, they work for us. Okay. Yeah. We pay their wages. Yeah. They work for us. If the majority of British people are saying, look, we don't want it. We've never wanted it. It's ruining our country. You need to stop illegal immigration. You need to cut legal immigration down to exceptionally low numbers. But they won't listen. Right. No. But they won't do as they've been told or instructed to by, because I'm the only thing I can think of is I agree with your guest. There's their puppets. There's someone else with their hands up their jacky telling them what they can and can't do. Why can't we have a diplomatic incident with France? Why can't we just say no? The British public don't want them. It's destroying the country. It's costing us tens of billions of pounds. I mean, why would you take my money? I'm a higher rate taxpayer. Why would you take my money, right? And then not use it for the things I want you to use it for, but instead pay for someone to have driving lessons, a mobile phone, a nice warm hotel, whilst our own pensioners freeze? That to me shows me that white British people in Britain are at the bottom of the list. And furthermore, in a scathing speech that resonated with an increasingly disillusioned electorate, Dr. David Bull, broadcaster, former member of the European Parliament, and a prominent voice of Reform UK, did not hesitate to criticise Westminster, accusing its politicians of no longer representing the people, but instead serving powerful forces operating behind the scenes. On social media, he posted a blunt, no-nonsense message, declaring that today's MPs are mere puppets manipulated by more powerful figures in the background. Though his language was strongly metaphorical, Dr. Bull's point was unmistakable. The current political system is no longer accountable to the public, but is dominated by lobby groups, global organizations, unelected bureaucrats, and financial elites. His warning is not an isolated one. It forms part of a growing wave of political insurgency in the UK, led by figures such as Bull, Nigel Farage, and Richard Tye. They position themselves as the voice of the forgotten voters who feel betrayed after Brexit, frustrated by unrealistic climate policies, and opposed to immigration levels they never consented to. According to them, the public wants change, but all they receive is more of the same from those in power. Many people now believe that the major parties are merely performing the same play, pretending to be different while in reality pursuing the same global agenda. One that feels increasingly disconnected from the everyday lives of ordinary citizens. And that sense of lost control is not limited to the UK. From Europe to the United States, voters are questioning who is truly running their countries. Of course, there is no shortage of criticism claiming that Bull and his movement are spreading doubt and division rather than offering clear solutions. However, his supporters argue that it is precisely the succession of scandals from MPs holding second jobs to officials with ties to pharmaceutical corporations to murky deals behind closed doors that has led the public to increasingly believe that real power no longer resides in Parliament. What are your thoughts on these recent developments? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest stories from across the UK. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and see you in the next.